The last video we have worked on our post application where we were getting all this data from backend using the RxJS services, as well as we worked on our effect classes. Now in this video what we're gonna start is to be able to add a post. So previously we have added this form, but when we click on the add we don't do anything yet. So to start with this form, couple of things we need to know is we want to be able to submit a form with a reactive form on Angular, and whenever we add this post we're gonna come back to this page and we add this value directly on top of it or below it, whenever we want. Now there are couple of way we can work on those. One way is like we send the data to backend and forget, and since we have a store on our Redux part, we could just keep this data in directly here, and that will gonna give us the post. Another way is like we could just send the data and forget, and then whenever it redirect to this page we can re-render this whole list of data of posts. Now first option, where we can just submit and add this data to post, is more efficient, but since if you notice these are different route, it's easier to just submit and forget and come back to the post page if it's successful and re-trigger the fetch API. In that way we can get the post, but in modern different framework we could just add it into the post and directly that should work. When you're gonna work with the router resolver, we're gonna see how those things can be done using a resolver. So let's start with it. First thing first is we need to be able to work on our form where we have this data, right? Now we just copied this directly from the Angular material website, where we just have a form with two input field. One is let's assume this is title and body. This is title and this is our body, and then we want to be able to implement a reactive form here whenever we submit this button, right? So to do that, couple of things we need to import is form builder and form group. So let's start with that. We need to be able to run our constructor, where we can say private form builder, and we need the form group, right? So what we can do is we can say form, this will be form group equal to this dot form builder dot group, and then accept the object. Now first argument is our title and second is group, right? So we're gonna say title, and initially it is a empty value. We say validators required. Now we could pass multiple as a array also, that will also work. So we can say validators that minimum length is, let's say, 5, and that also gonna work. Now second one will be our body. We should be same as minimum required as length is 5, but instead of 5 we're gonna make it 120, let's just say. Now we have this form already. Now to plug in this form, we're gonna say form group equal to the form we have. In that way this is already plugged it in onto our form. So if we inspect and go to add form, we're gonna see nothing changes, but because we haven't plugged it in into this field itself. To do that, what we can do, we remove the value because we don't want the value. Example, my post, and then placeholder whatever is. Now we need to be able to give the label, title, and this will be body, and then these are just when we copy. We really don't need any of this, and also this, just to clean up. Now we need to able to run as a form control, right? So from control name equal to title, we're gonna say the same one for the text area equal to body. Remember, this need to match with our this. Now if we go back, we don't have yet nothing, right? Now if you notice, like whenever we just focus out, our validation is working already. Now one of the thing is, if we want a default value, we can show so sample title. You're gonna see that value is already plugged in sample title. This is kind of cool. Now next thing is to be able to submit, right? But what we want to do is show our validation error message somewhere. So what we can do is either each of the validation message we could put it underneath, show that it's visible. So I can go to Angular material website and then try to find a way to be able to show some error or something in the below, right? So if you see, this is error message will gonna come up. So something like this we want to be able to show. So let's see how it is done. Now what they are doing is, if there is a error, then they show the error directly, right? And that's a very good way, I would say, to do that. Now for us, we are using a reactive form where they are using form control, where it can be different, but it should be easy for us. So what we gonna do is just call the error message directly, and that should do the work. So let's do it for here. And remember, this form field and then input is together. So here we're gonna say the from dot get, for us it will be title, has error seems to be not available, but get control control, I believe is get control. We can take a look. Angular reactive form. So if we go to validation, we can say form group, and for form group we can just directly say get and name, and then if this is the name, invalid, dirty, or touch something, but usually this should have the has error, name, get name. We should have has error. Okay, so has error, it does has error, or what is that? What is the difference? Oh, this is optional. Okay, it's work, it work. So if it's required error, then we can say title is required. Now if we go back, oh, the error is not imported. Now if it's title and say title is required, this is cool. We don't want this strong, just plain text should be fine for us. Now similar to that, we can say max data or minimum data, whatever. Now I think we should remove this because for us to make it easier to develop, because every time we have to type and that's something we don't want. So just record is fine, let's say. And similar here also we can do for body. Now see, required, title is required. Now add post, what we can do is on click we can submit, or usually if it's a button, if you'll see that a button on the Angular side, if I click here, it automatically, you'll see that it automatically go as nothing, but I can disable it. Disable form dot invalid. Now we'll see that I cannot click here anymore, only if I write something and this become enable. This is a very good basic in Angular form validation. Once we are done with that, we can say ng submit. Now we can say submit form, and we can create a method. So we can just say this dot form dot value. Now we'll see that whenever we submit, we have this value automatically. Now what we want to do is we want to submit this to our backend service. Now this is where our service come in again. Now we have load all. We want to be able to create another one to post data. So we're gonna say create post. The return would be a post type, and then we can just return the similar as this. However, we want to be able to post and then return a post. Also we want to be able to return a data, so post and post. Now let's hook this up, this service for now, before we work with the effect. We can say post service, and then this dot post service dot create, and then this dot value. Now when I run this, I shouldn't hit yet because I need to subscribe it. If you remember, any observable need to subscribe before it goes to the network layer. Now I can create n number of time, but it will not. However, what I can do is subscribe. I can say data. Now we'll see that we're gonna return the data. Post. This is our data we get back every time we can run a number of time, and then each time it's going to network. Now if we go to our post, we're gonna see all these posts are created. This is very nice. and also at the same time we need to redirect to post, right? So for that we need another imports, is routes, and whatever we are done, we're gonna say, let's assume this dot routes dot is a route, I guess, route, and no route, router, this is always confusing to me. Yeah, navigate by URL. So here I can just pass an argument to say that, okay, send me back to post or whatever, or I can just write a URL saying that send me back to slash post. Now this return a promise, I remember. You can add, just for debug purpose you can add that, um, it also works. Now if we go back at post, title, body, and at post, you'll see that title and body is coming. Now this works. Now how to use NgRx in this scenario, right? Because now we have a post service but we are not storing anything to our NgRx, but this will be overkill even to do that in simplest service, but we can learn a lot from here. So let's go back to our reducer. Now if you see, what we have is we have load post and some error. Now what we want to do is we want to be able to, for the create post, we have to have this similar approach. Now let's say we comment out create post, load post. Now this is easier always to create a comment, so is split it up. Now init create post, then create post success, and we can say create post error. Whenever we init post, what we want is we want to pass a props, which is post will be a post, and this will be our data we're gonna pass. Now whenever we success, we also return a post with the post. Error will be same as whatever error. Now this can be generic because every time there is error we could just use a single error. For us, this we can just rename it, let's say post error, I'll just say post error, and then this will gonna have impact here as well as in our effect. So now we have, this is global common shared. Now this way we have this. Now let's call this init create post from our component. Now we need a store to be able to do that. Private store. So what we have done in the list, similar, store is this. Now here, instead of create post, we can do is just remove everything, and we can just say this dot store dot dispatch. It require a post, so what we can do, call the action, what is the action name, post action, init create post, and we gonna pass the whole thing. post as this below. This is good. And whenever dispatch, what we can do is either we can listen to error in here, or we can just submit it and go back to the page, and that should be sufficient for us to just go and rest, let the framework handle rest of the thing. Now we could do is we could check if the post is success or not or something, but this should be fine because it's a simple app, right? The goal is to learn, so we are learning all those stuff, cool stuff. Now we don't need router. I like to clean up the stuff. So let's see what does it do. Right now we add post, we say this is title and this is body. If we run it, we're gonna see that it came back to the post where it dispatched this edit create post. Right now, for us in the reducer, we don't have any method. If you remember here, we don't have anything to do what to do whenever there is init. Right now, to work on that, we're gonna just copy these two. Again, we can make a comment, create post, and this is load post. So we're gonna say init create and create post success. So whenever I have a init, what we do is loading, we make it true, and we're gonna set the initial state as a data. We can say post, and initially we don't have any data, sorry. We're gonna have post this post, we're gonna make it optional, and then here create post. What we're gonna do is post, we're gonna say post and then post. So this is good. And then whenever we create a post success, we're gonna receive a post. What we could do is just always append with the exact data. So we could do is state.data, and we could add this post on top of it, and this will work. Now we can see whenever is loading false, and this equal to this, and we can make the post as a undefined. This should do the work. However, this is not really necessary, because when you load to the page, it's gonna create a new call, and then they're gonna update the data, but that's not our business for now. Now since we doing this, still our data will not updated. We can see it will just only store the data to our store. For example, if we add post add, now if you see, it doesn't do anything, but we'll notice that we have this load post. We can see in it, yes. So we're gonna see that this post is added with the tree, as well as if we look at our state, we're gonna have this post whatever we added here. Isn't it cool? So, and next thing what we need to do is hit this create success. Now this will be the one we're gonna do from our effect. So let's do that. So how we gonna do is it will be similar as what we have here. Only thing will be we can change create post action pipe. We're gonna have init create post whenever we receive a data here post, and then we're gonna say create post. We're gonna pass the post. Let's not. So this is a type of post. Create post required all the posts, so that should be fine. What's wrong with this? Create post, type of post. Oh, here create post, we're gonna post and then create post success, and this is gonna give me a post and run this post. So this should do our create post. Now we'll see that whenever is success we're gonna get that post. Let's go back, add post, add post. We'll look at the network here. We add, this is our create 201, and we're gonna create, and this is our response. We get the whole thing, and then whatever we have created is already here. So this is cool. And also if you look at the state in different create post, init create post, when our store was post, and whenever it is success, what we can see here is our data is there, but our post is already undefined and loading equal to false. So this is pretty good already. So what are the thing we have learned? So here we have seen that we can use a reactive form, we can dispatch something, as well as whenever the data is returned it is added to a list. In the next video we're gonna start with our editing, because for editing we will learn about router resolver, which is a very important concept to load data before it goes to the page, instead of like using constructor init you return some data. So those are not a very good way. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you.